Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode on digital procurement. Today, I'm going to speak about a new emerging function called Procurement Excellence and how this role has fundamentally changed from its inception, probably around 2015-ish onwards. Having spent about 5-6 years in this domain, I have learned few core fundamental principles what makes this function as a successful one, and I will also share some of the things which you shouldn't be doing to save time while setting this function. So let's jump right into it. First thing, let's understand what exactly Center of Excellence is. So let's say there's an organization, we call it as organization 1, which has manual processes, manual sourcing transactions running into place, right? So most likely they will have a team of category managers. Now, these category managers will be busy in day-to-day sourcing activities. And if you want them to own up the responsibility of analyzing the data, working with the technical integration for a new tool implementation, it's very likely they will not be able to own both the roles. So what happens? This raises a question: who should handle the digital tool implementations, etc., etc. And mind you, I'm talking about 2015-ish because that's where the role of procurement excellence sort of started evolving. Okay. Now you could argue that there's a team of IT, etc., etc., who can literally talk to the vendors who will do, let's say, the tool installation, be it your e-sourcing suite or your spend analysis. Now, but IT doesn't have the domain knowledge. Okay, so they lack the domain knowledge. They have a problem of lack of domain knowledge. Okay, these guys have the domain knowledge, but they lack one, time, second, digital know-how of some of the stuff of the integration, designing the processes, etc. And the vendors need both. They need this and they also need this as an input to successfully deploy a tool. So this gave a sort of a need to have one handshake sort of a department called Procurement Excellence, who has the department has both the skills of a category manager domain knowledge, we'll say domain knowledge here, and they also have technical know-how from business perspective so that they can design processes, understand integration, user flows, etc., etc. So this was how procurement excellence role came into picture. They are not the category managers. They don't do daily buying interactions, negotiations, but they handhold sourcing, vendors, and the IT teams together and act as a program manager for digital tool implementation. Okay, now that was 2015. We are sitting 7 years now, and I want to talk about what has changed in 2022. So if you want to set up a procurement excellence team today, what priorities you should be having. Okay, today the role has changed significantly and fundamentally. Okay, there are 3 roles in my view that new age procurement excellence setup should have in 2022. The first one, and listen to me, the first one here, they need to have data analytics skill set, and I will explain why. The second thing they need to have, of course, the digital transformation experience. Okay, and the third thing they need to have is operational intelligence of sourcing. You need all of these three to set up a successful procurement excellence, and I will tell you the reason why. Because in the span of 2015 to 2022, between these two milestones, there was a absolutely exponential growth of many organizations setting up their digital transformations in procurement. Now, what do you mean by digital transformation in procurement? By digital transformation, I mean e-sourcing suites. My apologies, 1 second. Yeah. I mean e-sourcing solutions. I mean spend analysis. I mean contract management. And many other solutions. Okay, so all of these tools were getting stacked on one and on top of one another, and they gave rise of what we call as data availability. Now today, this is no longer a number one problem. The problem is you have the data, but you need mindset to analyze, put it into a right use case, and drive the value of it. That's why in 2022 procurement excellence core function becomes, how do you take the data from your tools of e-sourcing, spend analysis, contract management, your process compliance management? How do you take that data, put a use case around it, and drive the value so that it ultimately benefits the category manager? Okay, and let's break this statement one by one. So what do I mean by that? For instance, the category manager here needs input in terms of intelligence, for such as market intelligence, such as vendor intelligence, such as pricing behavior. They need negotiation strategies, any helping hand that can help them gain a leverage on top of the vendors that they're negotiating with. They need early risk indicators. They need when to place the bid, when not to place the bid. All these sort of intelligence they need as an input to successfully negotiate, so that they can achieve more savings, so that they can de-risk the inventory, supply chain, value chain, etc., etc. And this becomes a core fundamental job of procurement excellence in 2022. So if I have to prioritize, let's say, the three skill set that I just listed above, from the data analytics, from the digital transformation, and from the operational analysis, I will now tell you how to put a use case around it. Let's start with e-sourcing, for example. Now, the way I will structure is, for each and every team member, they have to work together according to the use case that has been designed. Now, e-sourcing could be about consolidation of events, right? And this is one of the 1,000 use cases I'm talking about. Now, consolidation of events basically means there could be similar RFQs that many category managers are buying from all different vendors, and there has to be some sort of a similarity between the vendor base. Now, this could be one of the use case that people can latch on to and help category managers connect internally so that they can speak as one team. And again, there can be thousands of use cases. So e-sourcing intelligence, or I would rather categorize that sourcing intelligence, becomes one of the vertical that I want to set in my center of excellence, and I will share the structure that I want to build in 2022 for this. So sourcing intelligence becomes one function. Now within the sourcing intelligence, you can have internal data, you can have external data, and that really speaks about the domain knowledge that your team should have in sourcing excellence. Coming to the factor which we just spoke of, you need people who have been buyers for about good 2, 3, 4 years, who know how to negotiate, what factors really matter, so that they don't need hand holding on day-to-day basis. The second aspect I would put is the process intelligence, and this is going to be my second vertical. Now when I say process intelligence, let me scroll down a bit. One second. What do I mean by process intelligence? Now people assume the process is you set up a process and you are done with it, or you revisit the process probably after 6 months or so. When it comes to measuring how the process is working, it's a manual ad hoc activity. Again, that was 2015 thinking that it's a manual activity. Now your process compliance has become digitized. So what do I mean by that? You need to analyze your process according to, for example, using the timestamps or the sequencing that in the order which is happening, to really flag out your outliers. So process intelligence becomes, how do I make automated outlier detection? Okay, that's use case 1. The use case 2 in this would be, how do I analyze, how do I flag, or how do I automate my process inefficiencies? How do I automate my process inefficiencies? Now it's very high level I'm talking about. I hope you get the idea that the structure for procurement excellence has changed significantly. Just not about digital transformation anymore, which was supposed to be in 2015, and I see many firms today still following the same old structure. It's about sourcing intelligence vertical, it's about process intelligence vertical, and the last but not the least bit in my view, it's about, I'll give you 5 seconds to think about it. Sourcing intelligence, process intelligence, what's the last bit you can think of? Okay, the last bit, connecting these two together, it's about your skill intelligence. And when I say skill intelligence, it's not about the training I'm talking about. You need to understand the behaviors of buyers, you need to understand the behavior of sellers, and you need to know where are the weak spots, and this is where it becomes the negotiation intelligence at the end of the day. So for me, skill intelligence evolves into the negotiation intelligence, how they should be negotiating, when they should not be negotiating, whom to eliminate, how to do optimal vendor selection, and these are some of the skills that is absolutely necessary in 2022. So to summarize this video, if you are going to set up your procurement excellence team, do not set up as a digital transformation office. You will not be able to establish a good credible ROI on top of it. Rather, follow the structure of 3 verticals: sourcing intelligence structure, process intelligence structure, and the skill intelligence structure. Now some of you might be wondering where the digital transformation fits actually. Now the digital transformation, you can either, depending upon the tool, what is your business case, you can park inside here as one team member, or if you're still far behind, set up your digital transformation vertical as well here. But for me, if I have to prioritize today, and reiterating to my CPOs again, this is the future. This is how you are going to drive the data value from the tools that you already have, and not just putting tools on top of tools and not realizing the value at the end of the day. I hope you get the idea. Now, if you really want to be successful in procurement excellence, what sort of the ideal profile you should be having? So if I have to combine these things into all one big recipe, so I'm looking for people who have been category managers for about, let's say, 3 to 5 years. Okay, same, they have digital transformation experience of driving e-sourcing or spend analytics for about 2 to 3 years, etc. Also, they need someone who need understanding of how procurement processes work, like from PR to PO, also how to do some sort of a compliance checks, and this could be another good 3 to 4 years. So at the end of the day, last but not the least, they need to be data savvy. And to really stretch my limits, I'm looking for someone who is not expert per se, but very handy with coding as well, be it Python or R, can make sense of how to put some scripts on top of each other. A good 3 to 4 year would also be helpful here. So this is what I will look for when I'm building, let's say, a team for future of procurement excellence. There's a lot of content I have given you here, and I'll put a stop to this video, but I hope you get the idea that the future of digital procurement is going to be procurement excellence, who not only carefully examine not to add one more tool to your already big stack, but rather use the data points to drive the value. Thank you so much for listening to my video. I hope you get some of the idea, and if you are willing to upskill yourself in any of these areas, I'll be very happy to help you out how I started my procurement excellence journey. Thank you so much. My name is Gaurav. Do subscribe to my channel if you find useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.